So now we will go with the derivation of the closed coil helical spring. I already made a plotted diagram here. You can see a closed coil helical spring. In this spring, basically W axial load working downward in this figure. Now due to the loading condition, it will be in a strain condition, or it will be in a stretch condition. Due to loading, it will be a stretch condition. So due to this, the L is 2 pi Rn, where 2 pi r is the circumference of the circle and n is the number of turns. The number of turns here is the 1, 2, 3 and 4. So these are number turns. Second one thing, we discussed that this is your small d, these are diameter, and this is a mean radius. If I'm plotting from the center of this circle, so it will be from this center to center is it clear? And this is your small diametrical section that I'm representing here. This d is the diameter. Is it clear? Or you can say W. I am representing a notations here where W is the, what mean by W is the axial load. Axial load acting on the spring. Is it clear? And your R is the, what is the R? R is the mean radius of the spring. Is it clear? And D is the diameter of the wire. Is it clear? And your, due to loading condition, we know that we also discussed that due to this loading condition, this R, I'm plotting a large view here. This is R. With respect to R, with the due to the loading condition, a deflection E delta is measured with an angle of twist theta is representing after the loading condition. Is it clear? So delta, what do you mean by the delta? Delta is the deflection of the coil. And what is theta? Theta will represent the angle of twist. Angle of twist is there, and L is your, one more thing is an L. L is the length of the spring, representing in mm here. Much more thing is there. Due to the loading condition, at twisting, it produce, it means a torque T is there. Due to the torque T, a bonding moment of inertia IP. Due to torque moment T, moment of inertia within the spring is, this is a circular section, this is IP, the circular section, so it will be taking as a pi d 4 upon 32. Is it clear? Now from the torsion equation, what we the torsion equation, where T is equal to IP is equal to C theta by L is equal to tau upon R. And what is T? It is a torque, and I is the bending moment, polar moment of inertia, and C is the modulus of rigidity, and theta is the angle of twist, where L is the length of the membrane, and tau is the shear stress generated within the membrane due to the torque T, and R is the radius. So is it clear? So from this equation, from this torsion, this is your torsion equation. If you go with, if you want to learn this torsion equation, I also mentioned a link of this torsion equation video lecture, so you can go through this lecture and you can identify that the how the torsion equation will drive. So from this torsion equation, we can identify a shear stress, we can identify a theta angle of twist, we can identify your polar moment of inertia IP. You are already having your value because this is a circular section, so we can identify the delta is the deflection within the spring. So let's start with the derivation. So from the torsion equation, we can equate these two. T by IP is equal to tau by R, where the torque is applying here. So due to the torque, due to the loading condition, a torque is representing at here, the T is equal to load into R, where R is the mean radiation. So the value of T here is we will calculate it, T is equal to W into R. Now from this equation we can identify the shear stress due to the torque. So means shear stress T into R is equal to tau divided by IP. But and where T is, T we identified as W into R, and R is the radius of the shaft, and IP, or you can say R is not radius shaft, but where is the radius of the coil, and IP should be taken as the polar moment of inertia. And what is the polar moment of inertia? For example, you have any shaft. For example, you have any shaft, and this is your Z axis, and here a diameter D of the shaft is given, and this is your axis in your side view. This is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. So the polar moment of inertia J or IP, in some of the books they representing the J, in some of the books they representing the IP. So IP, or you can say along the Z axis, along the Z axis is equal to summation of inertia generated in the x-axis plus inertia generated in the y-axis. So it means if I'm taking this value, where I-axis is the pi d4 divided by 64 plus pi d4 divided by 64. If I'm solving this two, we will obtain pi d4 divided by 64 and 2 twice. So 2 to 2 is cancel, 32. So pi d4 by 32. So IP, where IP I am taking here pi d4 divided by 32. So I am taking this value here. So I am find my tau is equal to T was the W into R, and R is already there, divided by IP pi d4 divided by 32. When I'm further solve it, we will tau 32 WR square divided by pi d4. So is it clear? You can see, students, here the D is the diameter of the shaft, and this is R is the mean radius of the coil. It means we taking as both are same. So if I'm further we can solve here. So we are further solve here. This R was the, when I'm taking with the R is the this R was the shaft radius. So shaft, and this is the diameter of the shaft. So I'm taking here this R taking here D by 2. D by 2, it means 2 to 2 the cancel, and D to D the cancel, and further we solve this as 16 WR divided by pi D cube. So this value will be identified that shear stress from this torsional equation. We identify the shear stress equation, and from this shear stress equation, when you having some spring problem, we will put this formula for the shear stress. So we identified that the tau here, I am representing a tau here, is equal to how we get it 16 WR divided by pi D cube. So this formula we will use in our problem of the spring. Now second thing, we have to identify the theta, the angle of the twist. From this equation we identify the shear stress tau. Now we identify the theta will be, we can from the torsional equation, a T by IP is equal to C theta by L, where I am solving this theta will become T into L divided by a polar moment of inertia into modulus of rigidity C. So further, when I am equating this T value, we know that in previously we solved that the T is theta is equal to T dot W into R, and L is the length of the coil. It means the L is equal to 2 pi R N, where 2 pi R is the circumference of the circle, and N is the number of turns that is within the spring that is given, or you can say N is the active number of turns. Sorry, it's not a number of turns, this is the active number of turns. So active number of turns here, these are the active number of turns, these are inactive. So this portion is the inactive number of turns. So N is the active number of turns divided by the IP pi D4 divided by 32 into C. When we further solve it, so from here we will identify that theta is equal to 64 WR square n divided by C d 4. So this formula we also use in your numerical. So it means I will write here a theta is equal to 64 WR square n divided by C d 4. Now you know a theta is the angle of twist that is due to the axial loading condition W, and the delta in the deflection is produced here. So we can identify in a delta also, and delta should become a, you can say delta is a r theta, and delta is your r theta. You can, or theta will become a delta by r, and from the theta is this, this is theta, both are same, we can equate both these terms. So when I'm equating these both these terms, 64 WR square into n divided by C d 4, when r is going to this side, or you can say the r is the mean radius, so I am taking here delta by d by 2 is equal to 64 WR square n divided by C d 4. You can cancel out the d to d, and it will become 2 here, so it will be 32. So means our delta will become a 32 WR square n divided by C d cube. So this will be your delta is the deflection of the spring. So when the problems is there, you can identify the you can put this delta value in your numerical. You can calculate the delta value. So delta. So now we identify the stiffness of the spring, that is denoted by the K. So K stiffness due to the loading condition W, and your deflection is produced, and the stiffness is representing here W by delta. Is it clear? We already identified that delta. You can either take this value delta here, either you take here delta value is 64 WR cube n upon C d 4. We already discussed in previously. So K is equal to W by 64 WR cube n divided by C d 4. Is it clear? When we am solving further solving, or we can write here WCD4 divided by 64 WR cube, and it is represented as the K is the stiffness. So stiffness WCD4 divided by 64 WR cube n, or we can say that W to W cancel out, or you can say K is equal to C d 4 divided by 64 R cube n. So we will represent it here C d 4 upon 64 R cube and your stiffness value. Either it could be a, and W will cancel out here. Now we will identify the strain energy within the body. Energy stored, it is represented by U, and you know that the strain energy having a formula half of the load is the W into deflection. So we concluded that the half into load into deflection is represented as the it's not a deflection, sorry, this is not a theta, it's a delta, because delta is your deflection and theta was the angular twist. So half of the load into deflection, it means further we can write here what was the due to loading condition your torque T was produced, and deflection in terms of the W it will be representing here theta. I am taking here the theta, so it means half into torque into theta. So further we identify the theta, where theta value was the, we put all these values. So U is equal to half into T into theta. Theta was the 64 WR square n divided by the C d 4. Now we can identify the U value here, but we can take this energy stored in the body in terms of the shear stress. So I know that the shear stress 16 WR by pi d cube. So I am bifurcating this term. And taking some other values to in terms of the volume of the diameter, and as well as in the shear stress term. So half into T was the W into theta where torque was W into theta. We previously, sorry, not theta, this was R. It was a W into R. I'm 8 taking, I'm bifurcating it. 8 is a 64. W R N. C T की 4 and R N I'm taking separate here. I'm R N taking a separate here. Now further we can say this is the tau having a D cube, so it is a D4, so I am making D cube here and it D here. Now you have to need to D square also with respect to your n 2 or both times 2, 16 is required. So it means when we have taken the volume of the, what is the volume of the wire? What is the volume of the wire? Area into length. Length of the wire is already representing here. What was the length? What was the length here? 2 pi r n. And what is the area? Area is the pi r square. Here area is the pi r square. What will be the r here? Because this is the r is the diameter small r square. So pi r square into 2 pi r n, it will be represented as a volume of the wire. So your r is already there, n is already there, and you need to pi, you need a pi here. So it means 2 pi is your already available in your volume. So I am taking here pi into pi. I am taking here, and r already r is there and n is also there. So it means pi r n and 2 is required. So means 2 will be multiply here and 2 will be multiply here and divide by 4 here. So I am multiplying further 1 by 2. I am making it 16 WR. When I multiply by pi, so I am making pi here also. I am making pi here also to make a tau. So here pi d is there. Similarly 16 WR upon C d cube. Okay, I am taking C here. I am taking C outside here, and pi d. You know that at here the pi, d cube is required. D cube is required, so it means I am multiplying by d square, dividing by d square here, and multiplying d square here to equate this. To equate this, and 2 to 4, it means 1 by 4 is also needed here, and d square is also needed here, and rest of the term is this one. Pi, and second one pi is there, and r is there, and n is there. Now you need to need 2 also. You need the 2 also. How it could be? Because 2 pi r n becomes the length. 2 pi r n becomes the length of the wire, and pi d square by 4. When the r is the radius, here taken radius, and d in terms of d by 2 is the square. So even d square by 4. So means this will become an area, and you need to pi r n, 2 pi r n. So multiplying by 2, divide by 2. So divide by 2. Further I can equate this 1 by 2, this 2 and this 2 is 1 by 4. It will become a C, and this 16 WR pi d cube, it will become a tau. 16 WR upon pi d cube, it will also become a tau. Multiply by 1 by 4 d square into pi, it will become a area of the wire, you can say, and 2 pi r n representing a length of the wire. And from the length of the wire and my area, it will become the volume of the wire. So I'm writing here 1 by 4 C a tau square into a volume of the wire. So your U is the strain energy stored in the spring in the loading condition. You are representing here the 1 by 4 C tau square into volume of the wire. So student, this is your derivation of the closed coiled helical spring.